Go.
all of my
All
notes.
righty.
Okay, so again, we will start. So what I've got here are two of my larger jelly plates, and I just kind of played with this a couple of about a year ago, and I really enjoyed what would happen is what I'm doing is so you're going to need a some sumi-e ink. You're probably going to need a thing of water somewhere because you are going to have to rinse out your brush frequently. So I have a little sumi-e ink in a container and I have my water in the container. And what I am going to do is I'm going to try to do what I would call some aesthetic writing. So I have a nice brush here. Make sure that it points nicely. I think I just brought the same brushes that you had, Korinne, so everybody's looks the same. So this is a
Okay.
small one of the brush
Okay.
that I got. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a fairly neutral color kind of quickly down. And I've got to turn off my heat source here because it dries too fast if I have the heat source on. And I'm going to take a neutral color like titanium. This is unbleached titanium. And I'm
Oh,
just,
isn't that funny? I reached for the same one.
oh, okay. So we are thinking alike. And now I'm going to take this and I'm going to lightly spread it over my piece here. And then I'm going to use, so my intention is something that's going to look kind of either like this or like this. I want pieces and I can also do them in separate things. But for the first time, since it's so quick to dry in here because it is cold outside again, I'm going to dip my brush in the ink. I have a little bit of water on the brush, and I'm just going to use the very tip of the brush, and I'm just going to make some, write like I'm not even sure what kind of writing it is, but I just want to end up with a little bit. And I'm going to put a little bit more water on my brush, clean it off a little bit, and do that again. And this is just something that I may add to collage at some point. And what you'll notice is that the ink kind of takes you're much better at the just writing kind of fake
Oh,
stuff.
I'm just trying.
It's very good. I don't do a good job of writing the fake stuff. So then I've got this lovely fake stuff down here. Now I'm going to just take a piece of paper. I'm hoping that I tried to do it where it's still fair. It is fairly wet. So I'm going to take a piece. I'm going to just first try to do it on a piece of copy paper. And I'm going to lay the copy paper straight down while it's still wet. And I'm going to press it down. Sometimes, if I don't do this quick enough, I have to end up doing I have to end up letting it dry and then pull it off with another color, which works sometimes and doesn't work other times. But this is what you get. You get this look, you can see that the the sumi-e almost pushes out. So I've also done this with alcohol ink and it works too, because the alcohol actually almost pushes it out a little more. But what I like about this is it just gives me some paper that I can use. Looking very old, it looks like the ink's faded in places and it looks like it's old, and it's just fun to do. I've done this. There's like 3 or 4 different ways you can do it if you're looking to use it in collage. Do make sure that you clean out your brush a little, so because you will have a little bit, sometimes you get a little bit of acrylic on the tip of your brush. So
Aha.
it's a good idea to continue to clean out your brush, so it doesn't end up with a little acrylic tip on it. So that's what I just did. And so, and it shouldn't take a really long time to dry. Let me start pulling this up. So as you can see, it pulls up rather nicely. It may leave a little tiny bit of the black behind, but mine's not leaving a lot of it. And I just like this very almost organic, very nice.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I've
Isn't it
never
pretty
tried this
cool?
before. It's very cool.
Yeah, I think it's very, very, very cool. So that is the first way of doing it. So there's a lot of different ways that I do it here. But that's the
What I
first.
like about this too is that because the ink was obviously wet, um, not only do we have the dark, but I've got some of the white paper showing through too in the inked areas.
Yes,
And
and
maybe
some
it's because of how wet I think yours is the same. It looks the same
yes,
from,
that is the effect I'm going for. I'm going
yeah,
for.
that is very cool.
Yeah, and sometimes when it's the wettest, like it is right here at the top,
Yeah.
sometimes you saw me a little adding water at times to it because I
Mm-hmm.
really like how that ink breaks apart and looks
Mm-hmm.
really, really kind of interesting. So
Mm-hmm.
I find that I really like that. So we're going to try it a second way.
Okay.
This time we're going to try to kind of dry the ink in between. And we can either use, the same colors we use. Since I'm going to end up using gold a bit, what I prefer to do for this one is if I use um, the titanium buff, I do a little bit of titanium buff and a little bit of white to try to lighten it just a little bit. I find white becomes too stark and it tends to go gray, so it doesn't look warm. But if I mix up the 2 different colors, the white and okay, white, I just
So
have,
are we going to put paint directly on the plate again?
yes, we are.
Okay. So
So
white and a little titanium buff.
yeah, white and a little bit of titanium buff. I'm trying to mix it off to the side so I don't get the scritches, but I'm not having a there it is. So I sometimes I
Yeah,
prefer
I
to mix
know.
it on the side here. So I'm gonna just so I get more um a more even coverage, but I'm not sure if this actually worked, but let's just go for it. Oh, and I forgot to pull my hair back, so I have a few hairs and things. Whoops. That'll just look more natural and old, right? So I'm
Right.
going to do the same thing. This time I think I'm just going to make um in a little bit of individual um marks. So, whatever I can do for marks. I just want a few, I'm just going to kind of keep on making some lines of weird marks. God only knows what they are, but and loading up my brush a little tiny bit more, maybe, and trying to be finer on my So,
You're doing more of a
calligraphy, I
almost
don't,
a, yeah, I don't know how to,
cuneiform, whatever it is.
yeah, I don't know how to do that.
Neither do I. So I'm faking it. So like I can put there's a person here with feet, and then there's let me see if I can make an elephant looking shape or whatever. Let's do a teddy bear or a I don't know what it is, but it is. And then, there's three things here and one here down at the bottom. So I don't know what I'm doing. And it's fine because it's marks. It's just interesting, repeating marks that can kind of look kind of interesting. So now, um, so I've got a little bit happening in places. I'm just going to, now I have to dry this. And what I really was
Okay.
trying to do is to get a lot of, and yours worked really well, Korinne, because you've got a whole lot of you kept yours nicely wet. I didn't keep mine quite as wet as yours, but it worked really well. So now we're going to dry this. And that takes a little bit of time. And then we're going to take it with a gold and we're going to pull it with a gold.
Okay.
And so that's going to give us a different look too. We can, if we want, put some texture in it before we thoroughly dry it. If you want to have like gold cracks in it, you could use, I've used a piece of paper before to just kind of put texture in, but I've already started drying it. And so I think my gold is, or my white is pretty dry. All that I'm drying now is my black. And you know, and the wetness because I don't want the
Right.
so and the sumi-e ink tends to lose its shine when it's dry. So I've got like maybe there's a little piece here that needs drying, but a lot of this is already nicely dried.
So when I do this next time, I think I might use less water in my
Well, you
brush.
could use less water in your brush, but what it should have done is, but you could use less water. Um, you may find out that the black is right rhyming every one of your pieces. That's kind of what alcohol ink does. I, you know, I may do one with the alcohol ink just to show you. I'm not sure if you want to sacrifice of course, I'm using black, so black doesn't really, I would use black alcohol ink. So the black alcohol ink it doesn't have enough yellow to leave the stain behind.
Oh,
Seems
my
like,
plates are all yellow anyway.
yeah, right, yeah. Um, so for those that don't have sumi-e ink, they can also, I've done this with alcohol ink before too. Um, I just feel more oriental when I do it with sumi-e ink.
Hmm.
So, so now this is dry, I think, as I'm touching it. If anything isn't dry, you can use the old trick of just quickly, gently whisper fingers down. And I had two pieces that weren't dry, and it just pulls it up, but it doesn't pull up any other things because it is pretty dry,
Right.
you know. So that's all I do. And then it just pulls up. Oh, look how much you had in there that you didn't even know you had in there.
I know.
So you might want to dry that middle. That might be interesting if you dry it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said about when you find out, you may find out that you've got more,
Yeah, because it was wet.
right,
So there's
because
actually more ink on there than I knew
then
because it
you, yeah,
was
right,
heating
because,
up.
right, right. So sometimes I'll just put these aside rather than try to dry them, but we are stuck with 30, our little 30
30
minute
minutes.
thing here.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't do everything at one time. But this is just an idea to start with. I mean, there's so many different things you can do with this. Um, I even, so while you're drying it, I'll show you some of the different things that you can do with it. So like here is one that I did really wet and really big and pulled with a really deep gold. And that was
That's
kind of
beautiful.
fun. And here is one where I just did the ink itself on the gel plate and just pulled it straight with nothing but putting the ink on. And it really makes for a beautiful, this one's done on one of the rice papers. And as you can
Mm-hmm.
see, it makes for wonderful designs and I couldn't do that with a brush because I couldn't get the dottiness. I couldn't get that condensation look with a brush. If I'm trying to do that with calligraphy kind of um, motions, I can't get that. But if I take those same motions and put them on a gel plate, I can get that. And here is one that I did the traditional wabi-sabi technique and
Mm-hmm.
crumpled the paper. And what happens here is that the ink, and I just used the sumi-e ink on, I brayered it
Did
on.
you roll it with a brayer?
I rolled it with a brayer, and then you
Mm-hmm.
get this lovely effect. So
Very cool.
all of this works. So there's so many different play things that you can do with this. And so I'm going to start mine. I'm going to try to pull it, and I'd really like to pull it with a fairly light gold. I don't want the really dark, a super dark gold. So I'm looking for my gold, which is in this weird looking acrylic. I got when I got,
I got a new gold.
yeah, you
I
got,
got a liquid text,
I'm almost tempted to, I have liquid
which I
text.
haven't had before because I usually use the jacquard one.
Yeah, I usually use the jacquard one because it's so light. Actually, I have this gorgeous new Liquitex green metallic gold that would look, I'm looking for it. Let me see look at that. This is a brilliant yellow green gold.
Ooh,
I'm going to use that one. So
I'm gonna
what I'm
try
going
this
to
one.
do is just put a little bit of gold here. And then again, I'm going to roll it out quickly. And you can see this is a kind of almost a transparent, it's a pretty gold.
This one's almost transparent too. What kind of paper are you picking it up with?
I'm going to pick it up with one of the sketch pad paper. It's a little heavier. We've got 3 layers in it. The gold's kind of heavy. So I'm going to put the,
Okay, we'll use sketchpad paper.
right, I'm going to pull it up with the sketch pad paper and just really rub it down. The gold tend to dry fairly quickly. So this
Mm-hmm.
has to be a fairly quick motion on it. But this, I think you're going to see that with mine, the gold is kind of like peeking through in places. My poor thing is so stained that it looks like it's yellow, but it's not yellow. It's going to pull up fine. And so do you have any questions? How are you?
No, I'm learning something totally new today, which I really appreciate.
Yeah,
And it's lots of fun. I'm going to practice that athenic writing a little more and see if I can get like finer with the
Yeah, I think I need to do
with
that
the
too.
brush,
Well, and you can also use, I have used a finer, like
small brush.
I've used a script liner, one of
Okay.
the
Yeah,
long
yeah,
point
liner
brushes.
brush. Uh-huh.
I have used a script liner with this and done really fine writing, and it works well. It takes a little longer to do and longer to dry. So,
Uh-huh.
and I wanted to be able to get this done in kind of a timely manner here. So, and that was,
Which is
yeah.
which is
So,
why you're working with two plates so that you can let one
well,
dry while you're working with the
I
other.
think I'm gonna, yes, what I wanted to do is show for those that don't, well, I was trying to show for those that don't have, oh, why are you not coming up? That don't have sumi-e ink, I'm going to do an alcohol ink one on this paper, this one.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I will try of course, that's really big. Maybe I'll try it simply because it would take a long time to dry, and I've got like 7 minutes. So I'm pulling this off, whatever this
So when
was.
you do it with the alcohol ink, are you just putting the ink straight on the plate and then picking it up with the paint? Or are you doing the same
No,
process you
I'm
just did
doing
with
the
the
same.
sumi-e?
Yeah, I'm going to show you right here, I think.
Okay.
If I can do that, I want to get one that's reasonably clean. There's one that's
The only
reasonable.
thing with the alcohol ink is, Terry, do we need to seal the paper before we put it into collage?
Well, and that you don't, I have, that's why I don't use a lot of alcohol ink in the collage papers. I usually, but what I will do, if I've used alcohol ink collage papers in, the alcohol inks won't move with the acrylics once they're
Right.
on a non-porous piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do tend to do if I have alcohol inks in things like that is I will do a light coat of the UV protection over it after I, before I include it in my collage
Mm-hmm.
so that it is sealed. So
Right.
the same kind, I'm going to do kind of the same kind of thing. I'm just going to use a little bit of alcohol ink while we're waiting for things to dry. And so I'm going to use just the black alcohol ink.
Okay.
And
I'm just going to watch you.
yeah, that makes sense because you really are still waiting for yours to dry. I have mine sitting
Yep.
over there waiting to dry. And I'm going to use just, uh, I'll use the buff titanium again. And I'm going to put this down lightly. And it does need to be a fairly light coat too. We don't want it to be too light. And I'm trying to, okay, that's the alcohol ink. And then I'm going to take a thinner, like a liner brush. I thought I had a liner brush here. I guess this is it. And did I just put that in the sumi-e ink? Trying to tell the difference between the alcohol ink. Oh, smell it. That's how you can tell, Terry. And
Yes.
again, I'm going to do the same kind of fun. Let's just have some fun here. So the more that I get this,
Can you pull your
oh
head back a little bit? Thanks.
yeah, I just realized I was trying to lean here. And I'm going to put a little more in here. So then I'm going to take immediately, I'm going to take, because, whoops, I got a little bit too much alcohol ink down there at the very bottom, and it looks like this might have No, it's still wet. Okay, and so then again, I'm going to put on a piece of paper and I can get an immediate pull. And there you go. So
Very
it
cool.
kind of works the same way. It doesn't
Hmm.
give you as much of the texture that I
Hmm.
think we get in it. It doesn't do the bubbly thing as well,
Right.
but it is another effective way of doing it. If that is what, if you're looking for just a little bit, and it's a real quick way. So if you just say, I really need a little black and white in here, or black and
Hmm.
whatever color in here, you can you can do that. And since the alcohol ink dries so quickly, it still does. You can see how you still have some of the line show like that, but that's how it works.
Hmm.
So it's pretty cool too. I'm pulling mine off. How did yours go? The gold,
I didn't get as much of the black as I wanted to.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
And your
so I
black,
think I would have a less wet brush next time.
yes,
But the gold is very pretty coming through. Hard with that light where it is.
yeah. It's interesting how blue your
You
black
can, you
looks
can,
now.
I think it's, well, it doesn't actually look, yeah, it looks more Payne's grayish. Um,
Okay, yeah.
but you can see as I chip this in the light in the
Yeah,
camera,
very nice.
the
Yeah.
gold. So I like the gold, but I think I'm going to try it again and use less water on my brush, and because I like yours better with more black. I mean, that was the intent.
Yes. Yeah.
But I will still be able to use this parts of this in collage.
Yes, and it works really well. This one, I really like this one with that green. This has that green gold, so it's not quite as gold in your face, and it is
Right
a little greener tint. And I like the
here.
lighter titanium uh, lightened up just a little bit. This could
Mm-hmm.
probably be really pretty if I did it just in white too. Maybe white with a touch of yellow in it, but it works out really well. And this would be a really nice, as you say, grab a piece of it for collage paper, and
Mm-hmm.
it looks really, it'll add a lot of interest to your painting.
Have you
So
tried to pick this up with wet strength tissue paper or tea bag
yes, I
paper or a lighter
have.
weight?
I have.
Does it
Here,
work?
here it is with wet strength tissue paper, and I picked it up with
Oh,
gold, or
pretty.
I put gold on, and
Mm-hmm.
where else? I do have it also on the I picked it up with this one, the 100
Yes,
pound.
I have that.
Yeah,
Okay. 100-pound rice paper.
it up, and I picked it up with a tea bag paper too, but I had to let it sit pretty long for the
Okay.
tea bag paper. And I picked it up with sometimes another thing that I've done, if I can find my piece somewhere over here. So another thing that I did is I put gel medium on here,
Mm-hmm.
and I just scripted the script in, and then
Hmm.
I let it dry, and I picked it up with gel medium. So
Okay, so you just had the writing that way and not
yeah,
the
I just had
painting.
the
Very
writing
nice.
and not the, yeah. And I
Good.
probably
Well,
could have, the gel medium was probably dry or wet enough. I could have probably just done it immediately, but I had wanted it to move more, and I'm looking for that piece as we speak, and of course I can't find it. But I think here it is. No, this one is one that I just pulled up with with a white, but that
mm-hmm.
also worked really well. This one
Yep.
ended up with some wabi-sabi. One of the things that I wanted to do is to try using a really big piece of paper to just put some lines in it like there were cracks and then pull it with
Mhm.
the gold. I think that would look
Yes.
great too. So those are all various way different things that we can use. And, you know, we're going to, and next week we are going to be trying to use, we're going to try floating our sumi-e on water and making designs and learning how to do that. So you're going to
Oh, very
need
cool.
you're going to need a container that you can put at
No.
least 2 inches of water in, and you're going to
Okay.
need pieces of paper that are smaller than the
So we
container
can,
so
right.
we can put them in. Okay? So it's kind of a marble.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank
So
you
Terry,
very much.
yeah, and I want to thank you. I think there's a lot of good, unusual ways to use our sumi ink here, and I can't wait to explore more this week. So thank you, Terry. This was really, really great today.
Okay, well, thank you too. And if anybody wants to join, it is www.exploremixedmedia.com, where we will this month have a project where we're going to combine all of these methods we've used this month into some collage work with our wabi-sabi and some of our papers we made last month. So we keep on
Excellent.
building on what we're doing. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. See you next Friday. Bye bye.
Friday.